Hey, good morning. Today we're going to be checking out an estate sale. Whenever I go to an estate sale, I find them on estatesales.net. There's a website you go to, type in the location you're looking for. There's also an app if you want to use that instead. And you can preview pictures of what's going to come up in the sale usually. So this one had in the photos a lot of clothing, and I'm really curious because there was a lot of clothing that was inside of garment bags, which makes me think maybe there was a lot of like formal wear or sort of like high-end clothing that had been protected or come from the dry cleaners kind of thing. I really want to check out a lot of that, and then I'll also kind of, look through the rest of the household goods as well. So you may have to wait a minute to get in. There's a little bit of a line outside already, so let's get into it.
So I did have to wait about an hour to enter, especially since COVID times. A lot of estate sales are limiting the number of people allowed in at one time. So you arrive and sign up on a sign-up sheet and then wait until it's your turn to queue up. And it's kind of a double-edged sword because you do have to wait longer, but then it also means there are less people around you, which is just sort of nice to have the space to shop. It also means that I really try to be efficient with my time and not take a ton of time to film, but I am going to show you a bit of every piece of this estate sale really quickly. And I'll say one more thing about arriving at an estate sale. I tend to always time it really poorly, I think. I arrive early so that I'm there before it begins, but I'm not early enough. Like, you have to arrive quite early to get an early spot in line and be among the first to enter. But if you arrive a little bit late, then people have already cycled through and you may not have to wait in line as much. So I tend to be right in that spot of having to wait until it opens and then having to wait my turn in line. So I think I'm always like the maximum amount of time that you have to wait. But tell me what you all think if you attend estate sales, if you like to arrive very, very early or even a little bit late just so that you avoid the wait. I'm giving you just a quick look at the rugs that were available here. And, I'd love to pick up some more quality antique rugs for my home. And in general, I would say an estate sale is a great place to do that. I tend to see pricing from $100 to $300 for these amazing rugs that would go for $600 to $1,200 when they were originally bought. So it can be a really great place to pick them up. As we go through this estate sale, you'll see that their pricing was actually really on the high side of what I tend to see at estate sales. But for the quality of the items, it felt more like shopping at an antique store or something. I fell in love with all of these really amazing decorative throw pillows, and there was quite a large collection. I thought these with all the different wines on them were really fun and interesting. I didn't end up snagging any of those pieces, but I really considered it. In the end, I decided it didn't quite go with my home decor anyway, although I really like an eclectic look, and I think these were all so fun, and they were eclectic and they coordinated without being overly matchy, and I just loved that and how it went with the rest of the pieces of furniture in the home. I thought it all was so interesting and very unique style that all came together. Okay, now we're going to head in and take a look at the clothing, and I think you'll start to see what I mean about the pricing being a bit higher than usual. There were some really great pieces, a lot of great coats and leather pieces, especially you'll see toward the end here, I found a huge stash of coats. It's always challenging to dig through the closet and try to film, but hopefully you can see just a sampling of what some of the pieces I was seeing were. Tons of fun animal prints And also later we'll see a lot of tie-dye pieces. I saw somebody scoop up an entire armful of all of these cool tie-dye pieces, and they ended up taking home that entire collection. But I'm kind of just looking for unique vintage, of course, and anything that I think would be something that I really would wear, something really special. Of course, I'm always kind of eyeing cool designer finds that I wouldn't have an opportunity to purchase otherwise. And luckily, a lot of this came in plus sizing and also like on the large side of standard sizing. So there was a lot of pieces that I felt I'd be able to fit into personally. So I am shopping for my personal collection here. My tip here is if you find an estate sale where the owner appeared to be the same size as you, always check out the belts, because personally I find that belts can be one of the most difficult things to thrift as a plus size woman, because I cannot find my size in stores. But when I go to an estate sale and the sizing matches up, I will look through their belt collection for sure and see if there's any pieces that I might want to take home for myself. Handbags, of course, are always another popular item at estate sales, and many people who resell will go to that section first. So I find that they tend to be a little bit picked over. There still were a lot of nice bags though, and again, with the pricing, I think that resellers got a little bit priced out in this case, but still really fun to look at this collection. I think, again, it's just as eclectic as the home decor was. I thought this beaded cat face sweater was so cute and unique. I've just never seen anything quite like it. So I was kind of thinking about that one, decided it kind of wasn't my vibe. And I also really loved this patchwork leather jacket, and this type of item is something that I have been sort of thinking about adding to my collection for the fall. I think the colored leather jackets are really fun. I kind of ultimately decided that I would be able to probably thrift something like this in the future for a little bit better price point, but that was a really fun, unique one. And look, another cat sweater. I spotted this houndstooth print, and it is a sweater vest, which is on my fall list. It's a Liz Claiborne piece, so I held on to that one to see if I was going to pick it up at the end. There was a pretty large teddy bear, like antique teddy bear collection at this estate, and they were pretty popular with the people shopping there. I don't know much about collecting those personally, but if you're someone who does, and if you want to share your experiences in the comments, we'd love to hear that. When it comes to shopping clothing at an estate sale, don't forget you can usually dig through drawers and shelves and chests. This is you can see it's a Lane cedar chest that they had some kind of casual wear in. And, I love collecting old sweatshirts, vintage sweatshirts. So I was kind of hoping to find a couple pieces in here, and I kind of was thinking about this Disney one because it was so casual and cute, just a really understated little Mickey on there. So I put that in my maybe pile as well. But then a lot of the other sweatshirts were vacation sweatshirts from Ocean City, Maryland and things like that. And just not something I personally was looking to pick up, but they were in really nice condition. Then I went downstairs and discovered the coat room, and this was kind of the jackpot in my opinion. Just so many beautiful fur coats. As you can see, I'm a little bit priced out here because these were running around $300 to $1,000, and that's just not in my budget for a fur coat right now, but they were beautiful to look at. So I'm going to show you a lot of these styles, and then there's a lot of leather coats down here. I was just sort of in heaven admiring all these pieces, and eventually I would love to pick up something like a small kind of faux fur jacket in a fun color or something, but I just kind of was taking a look at everything for today. But you will probably really appreciate this collection too. And look at Patti LaBelle here. Just some amazing pieces. There were also some really great kind of casual sets down here that were still new with tags even. But again, I felt like the pricing I think was around $50, and these sort of looked more like items that I might be able to find in a thrift store eventually. So since I thrift so often, it's hard for me to pick up something like that, but I really enjoyed looking at these. Look at this embroidered sweater set. It was so cute. And now we're getting back into the jacket collection. I'm telling you, there's a lot more jackets down here, including all the leather coats and jackets that we'll get into in a second. And these are some really, really cool pieces. This one you can see it actually looks like it's a set. There's like a matching inner waistcoat with that jacket. So that was kind of it for the clothing and jackets. And now while I was down here in the basement, I spotted a few more interesting antiques and furniture pieces. So I grabbed a few more shots to show you a little bit more of what this estate sale had. And then we'll kind of be wrapping up and figuring out what I'm actually going to try to purchase. So we've kind of seen everything, and the only thing is the pricing at this estate sale is a little outrageous, honestly. So I just picked up a couple of things. I'm going to see if I can haggle and get a little bit of a bundle deal. If you take everything up together, usually you can like sort of get a little bit better deal on the individual pricing. Because if I individually price what I'm picking out, like the few things would be like $100, and I'm not doing that. But so I'll let you know what I find. Okay, so that
estate sale was wonderful. I really enjoyed just looking at that collection. As always, when I attend an estate sale, I just kind of remind viewers to be really cautious in the comments because we want to be respectful toward the individual or whomever the items belonged to, and not, you know, make any assumptions about them as a person. Just appreciate the items. That said, I really appreciated that coat collection. Oh my goodness, all of the fur coats, the leather and fur coats. Gosh, if I really wanted to splurge, that's where I would have gone nuts, was in the coat section. There were a couple that I really considered if I wanted to splurge on, but a lot of them, as you saw, marked at like $800 and up. And for an estate sale, I thought that was on the high side. In general, I thought all of the pricing was on the high side. I heard a comment from a few other people at the sale that they also thought the pricing was high. So it would have been a great one to go on the last day instead of the first. If you don't know, a lot of estate sale companies will offer heavy markdowns on the last day, but of course you just don't get your first pick of all the items. I was expecting to see a lot of designer pieces, but there wasn't a ton like that, but still a lot of really just interesting things, beautiful furniture. I did walk away with just a few items, nothing like actually very fancy. I kind of went for stuff that you could kind of find in the thrift store, but I got a really good deal. I went up, and I've mentioned this on the channel before, but if you take all of your items up to purchase at once and then sort of like make an offer, you can like kind of bargain with the estate sale management a lot of the time. Of course, I don't want to be like disrespectful to what the pricing was originally marked, but if you're kind of getting rid of a lot of things for them, they might be willing to go down in pricing. So I went up and offered $20 for everything, which is essentially 4 pieces. She did not want to do that at first. At first, she was telling me one of them was a dress and that it cost $35 just for that one item. And I was like, that's not a dress, but is it $35 for the sweater set that I got? I was willing to walk away from it because it's cool, but it's the type of thing that I thought I might find in a thrift store. So I said no thank you to that, and I would just buy the other 2 items, which she was going to give me for $10. Well, then I paid her $10 and she ended up just handing me the sweater set and saying I could just take it. So I actually got an even better deal. Be willing to walk away sometimes, I guess, is the lesson. You know, I don't want to recommend that you lowball people. You know, it's an estate sale. They are trying to make a profit for the original owners or whatever. This one was actually like a liquidation, which means the company purchases the entire estate and they have already paid the original owners, and then the estate sale company is responsible. Like, they're the ones who are like trying to make a profit at that point. So it's a little bit different vibe, you know? Anyway, let me show you the pieces that I got, and I am going to try to like do a little try on and maybe a little bit of styling with them as well. Probably my favorite find was this sweater vest. This was the one thing I saw that I was like, I have to have that. I love this like oversized print that's on it in the houndstooth, and a good black and white piece. Sweater vests are just like such a great fall item. They've been really, really trendy, and I think especially in this like large houndstooth print. I also like that it's a thinner one. It's a 100% cotton Liz Claiborne piece in a 1X. I decided to grab this Mickey sweatshirt. It's a little bit thrashed. It's got some spots on it. It's definitely like kind of a work sweatshirt, I guess, like something you would throw on to paint. But I really liked this color. It's like a greenish gray, and then we've got just a little tiny Mickey embroidered on it. I'm not like a huge like adult Disney kind of person, but you know, I have a couple of cute like Mickey shirts and stuff like that I feel like they're just kind of classic. I basically had brought it up to the register thinking like, I'll just see if they'll give it to me, you know, within the pile for a couple of bucks. And since I got everything for 10, I feel like it was a really decent buy. And the last thing was this zebra sweater set. A lot of times I'll find these sweater sets that are like the tank top is sewn into the cardigan and it's like not technically 2 pieces, but I liked that this one really was. And this zebra print is so fun. I feel like it's so trendy and Y2K style. I could just see me having some fun styling it and wearing the pieces separately or together. So I wanted to give that a try. And again, with everything all together being 10 bucks, I think that was a good buy. Definitely like basically better than thrift store pricing for everything I got. So that was it for this estate sale. I hope you enjoyed coming along for it. I definitely do love going to estate sales, but I'm sort of particular about which ones that I enjoy going to, and it's all about timing and being able to get there. So I will continue to look out for good estate sales coming up in my area and take you along for the ride. Leave me comments about what you thought of the pieces in the estate sale. If there was anything you think I really should have grabbed. I gotta say, if you saw the leather, like faux leather, I think snakeskin trench coat that was like sort of a striped patchwork, that was probably the piece that I came really, really close to buying. And I think they had another similar coat they were asking $80 for, but this one was not tagged, so I thought it was gonna be about $80. And I was like close to splurging on something like that, but I have, you know, I have a number of great coats right now, so it was tough to go for something like that at that price when I can definitely thrift things for much cheaper all the time. Not necessarily that quality, but that's the coat that might haunt me. So thanks again for joining me on this. I will see you guys again soon with a new video. Doctor, doctor, give me the case of loving you. Whoa, 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 I know you like it. You like it on top.